Today I want to talk about back pain and stretching out your lower back. I've been using RestCloud's neck stretcher for almost a year now, and I loved it so much. The company actually sent me these two back stretchers to try because I loved their neck stretcher so much. So I want to go over the differences of these two different back stretchers by RestCloud. As you can see, the first difference is the size of the back stretcher. Actually, this one goes this way. So you have the smaller, lighter gray one and then the bigger blue one. I'm going to go over the measurements momentarily. And also a side view. This is what they look like. Let's see, for your lower back here, and this is what they look like from a side view. As you can see, the blue one is a bit higher, giving you more of a stretch. Each of them comes with these little inserts that go into the back stretcher. I recommend starting without using this insert because this will lay a little bit flatter, and when you put the insert inside of it, it gives you a little stability, and as you can see, it raises the device a little bit more. There's actually a groove inside of here that you can put this into. This little thing actually can double as a little back roller if you have a partner that wants to use this to kind of roll on your spine. It goes on the muscle on each side of your spine. It's not what it's intended for, but I found it really useful for that. Now, I want to say first that there were some things I liked and didn't like getting to try both of these. So I do want to share those with you and what I find does and doesn't work, and what I would do if I was shopping for these myself. Which one would I choose, why, and for what reason, and what your goals are. So going over this little one here first, looking at the measurement of this one, it goes across approximately 11 inches, and measuring it up, it is about 12 inches. So the widest point's about 11 and going 12 up this way. If you really wanted to know the smaller section right here, it's about 7 inches. Now switching over to their larger unit, going across, this one is also 12 inches, just maybe a smidgen over the 12 inches, and measuring it, I'm gonna go from the back side where it's flatter. It is also 12 inches this way at the shortest, and slightly over 12 inches at the longer area right here. The big difference in them is the height. So the height that you get on this blue one without the little ball inserted in is about 4 inches from the floor up into your back. And this one here, let me take out the little thing, and it will squish flat when you lay on it. This one here gives you, let's see, approximately, it's hard to measure with it being off. I'm going to say 2 inches, maybe 2.5 on this one. My first impressions laying on them, and we're going to show you what that looks like. This gray one was more comfortable right away. It gave me a nice, subtle stretch, nothing too harsh, and it actually was quite relaxing to lay on. Then when I inserted this, which I first thought was the back roller, like I said, and then I realized later it was actually to raise this. This gave it just the right amount of raise. This one by far was my favorite right out of the packaging. It was a most subtle stretch. It felt good. It was relaxing right away, and I felt like I could lay stretched out on this for 15 minutes. I have lower back pain. I often get a pinched nerve and a little sciatica. I don't know if that's your issue, but that is my issue. There are times when I lay on my stomach in my bed and I feel pressure on my lower back because it's always so tight. Right out of the box, not putting this one into the blue one, this actually hurt my back to stretch it. I'm not going to lie. It was a little too high for me. So I did not like this one right out of the box. That doesn't mean there's not a place for this one in my back healthcare routine. I think if you're someone like me with a really, really tight back, this one is the one to start with, and progressively work your way into this one, getting the better stretch for backs like ours that are incredibly tight. So this one is the one that we really need to work ourselves into to get that stretch. Now let's lay on these and show how flat my shoulders can get to the floor. So that was another thing, is that the goal is to not only stretch out your lower back, but to stretch it out so that your shoulders are laying flat on the ground. And so I use that as my identifying marker of how well it is working and how well of a stretch I am starting to get with these back stretchers. So here I'm using the smaller RestCloud back stretcher. I'm going to take this out and I'm going to turn it this way so this goes into my lower back. And you want to line this up right here and simply stretch on it. As you see, you can put your knees up. As you can see, my shoulders are flat on the ground. I've seen some people use these and their shoulders are way up here, which lets you know if you're progressing. You want your shoulders to be flat on the ground if you can. This feels good. I feel a stretch. It's not like it's doing nothing. It feels really great. This one, right away, I loved out of the box. Now let's add the insert in and see how that looks. This is how it looks without it. And here we now have the insert in. My shoulders are still flat on the ground. I definitely feel the extra push. It feels good up at my shoulder blades. I mean, this just feels great. And this is what it looks like down below. I do feel that extra height, that extra push in my back, and I absolutely love it. This just feels good. Now let's move on to the blue one, which is much higher. Now remember, this one goes up twice as high as the gray one. You see my shoulders? They're pretty close to the ground, but they are off of the ground. They are definitely not flat. Because I have been using this now for about 2 weeks, this one feels good to me now, but when I first got it, this actually hurt to stretch out because I was so tight. I still prefer the smaller one. Now, body frame may have a lot to do with that as well. For reference, I'm 5 feet 2 inches, so I'm not a really tall person, and I'm not a muscular man either. So for big bodybuilder guys, I think they would even like the smaller one because you're a bulky posture, but I do like both of these. So I would recommend getting both, but maybe, once you've worked your way up with the smaller one, working your way up to this one. Now let's insert the ball into this and see how that looks. Ugh! Now getting up from the blue one actually kind of hurt because my muscles are still very tight on my back. I still have a way to go. This is what it looks like with that ball inserted in there. It definitely has raised it. I don't have my tape measure next to me right now, but I would venture to guess that without this pushing down, it's going to be much higher than that 4 inches. Okay, now this one, I've made my shoulders lay flat on the ground, but my butt is off of the ground. So this is too much for me. It does kind of give me an extra stretch in that lower back as I gently, slowly try to get my tush onto the floor. It just kind of hurts because I'm so tight. I've still got a long way to go with my back. I would recommend rolling off of it, then sitting straight up, because sitting up like I did the last time, I think was a little too much pressure on my back. So there you have it. Those are my opinions on these two back stretchers, side by side comparison.